River City Products is proud to introduce the world's most advanced heavy vehicle steering system, Howard Power Center Steering. With more than 10 years in development, with millions of miles of in-service testing, this completely new concept in heavy vehicle steering is designed with one thought in mind: making driving less stressful and more enjoyable. Power Center Steering is a patented new steering system that has never been available before. For those who have never driven with power centering, it is an exciting new driving experience.
If you have an interest in how to improve heavy vehicle driving, the following should be a real eye-opener. It's new, it's different, and it works. I love driving a vehicle that knows how to go straight. When D. Howard installed an active steering system on my motor coach, I knew he really had something. It's the first really good thing that's happened to heavy vehicle steering since I've been driving. I also have the system on my trucks that haul my race cars. It makes good sense to do what I can to make driving more enjoyable and less fatiguing for my drivers. Power centering is the way to go.
The name D. Howard is legendary in aviation for innovative engineering and development of quality products. He is a member of the Society of Automotive Engineers and the holder of numerous U.S. patents for both aircraft and automotive application.
In the world of heavy vehicle driving, when the subject of steering comes up, the conversation quickly turns to the complaints about road wonder, crosswind steering, steering wheel pull, and rutted road surface. To keep a heavy vehicle rolling straight, the driver has to counteract all the undesirable steering inputs from the wind and the road. Think how nice it would be if your rig would roll perfectly straight without the constant steering wheel fight. That's what I thought about when I developed Power Center Steering. My goal was to prevent anything from steering the vehicle except the driver. I knew if the wheels would only roll straight, the driving would be great. It may surprise you to know that none of the components in your steering system are designed to prevent this backsteer from the wind and the road. As a development engineer, it's gratifying to hear drivers say good things about steering for a change, all because I got tired of the steering wheel fight and decided to do something about it. One of the real pleasures of engineering is to do something that is long overdue that really makes a difference.
I have been an alignment specialist for 20 years, and customer satisfaction has always been my major concern. Since the invention of the automobile, front-end geometry hasn't changed very much. It also has its limitations as to what it can do for drivability. The geometric functions that have been used to help a vehicle recover from a turn, even at best, are the weakest when driving straight ahead and offer no on-center holding force. Without power centering, driver intervention is the only force that keeps the vehicle on the road. This is where power centering comes into play. It does what power steering and front-end geometry can't do. It returns the steered wheels to a driver-controlled straight-ahead position and holds the steered wheels on center. When I say driver-controlled, that's exactly what I mean. Never before, since the invention of the automobile, has a driver been able to fine-tune the steering against external forces such as wind and road conditions while driving. Let me show you how this works. For demonstration purposes, we have a fully functional power steering system display, including the Howard Power Center system. To start with, let's take a look at what power steering does and doesn't do. Watch the steering wheel and the laser beam. Power steering's function is simple. It makes it easier for us to turn left and right when maneuvering at slow speeds. It is very seldom used when driving straight ahead. However, if we turn from straight ahead and release the wheel, it is obvious power steering does nothing to return the steered wheels to a straight ahead position. Let's leave the wheel off center. Watch what happens when the power center system is energized. Now we have a complete state-of-the-art steering system. In addition to completing a steering system, power centering gives the driver a definite on-center feel, which actually helps reduce over-controlling and the effects of backsteer. The backsteer we feel in the steering wheel from wind and road conditions is further reduced by using a unique driver trim control. If we are having to hold into the wind or steering left or right to stay up on a slanted road, we simply hold the vehicle so it is going straight and push the trim button momentarily. Notice that now the system holds the wheel in this position for you, relieving the strain on your arms and shoulders, and you relax and drive normally. By raising or lowering the system's pressure, you control the on-center holding force and sensitivity of the steering wheel. Now, for the first time in automotive history, you can fine-tune your steering while on the go. I've installed hundreds of units on my customers' coaches, trucks, and buses, and they tell me, without hesitation, Howard Power Center Steering has made a tremendous difference in their driving enjoyment, comfort, and safety.
On everyone's first drive with Power Center Steering, there is a spontaneous smile. This is where the "smile a mile" phrase was originated. With the following demonstrations, we will be showing scenes with and without Howard Power Center Steering. A benchmark has been achieved that will forever change the meaning of the term good steering. The steering problems of the past will no longer be accepted as just the way heavy vehicles need to drive. The basic function of Power Center Steering is to advance the state-of-the-art in steered wheel control and driving pleasure. You will see from the following demonstrations why more perfect control of the steered wheels pays off in driving enjoyment for everyone. The imperfect relationship between the steered wheels and the road creates steering feedback. The adverse steering input from the road is called backsteer because it steers back against the driver. Backsteer increases the amount of driver steering input by as much as 80%. We are now driving with the power centering system turned off. The constant steering input from the driver is to counteract backsteer. Even though the backsteer is not heavy, it is constant and keeps the driver busy. The diabolical thing about backsteer is that it comes and goes on its own terms. Controlling backsteer is responsible for most driving fatigue. Now, with a flip of a switch, Power Center Steering goes to work, preventing backsteer from even getting started. This is a graphic example of the old truism that says an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. With the backsteer under control, notice how relaxed and inactive the steering becomes and how straight we are going. It's easy to see what Power Center Steering does for the driver. However, there is another very important group of converts, the passengers. Once more, with the system turned off, does this look familiar? Now let's do a retake with the Power Center system turned on again. You can see why it's a toss-up as to who loves Power Center Steering the most, the drivers or the passengers. By this demonstration, we have established two important facts. One, that state-of-the-art steering components do not prevent backsteer. And two, that Power Center Steering works as advertised. Now that we've established these facts, let's take a look at the other marvels of Power Center Steering. For example, the first-time ever driver steering control panel. This convenient, user-friendly control will let you make small steering adjustments while rolling. This will make an amazing difference in your driving pleasure. You will be able to turn the system on and off at any time. You can trim out steering wheel pull. You can adjust the centering effect and increase directional stability as driving conditions change. You will be able to make an amazing improvement in crosswind driving. All of this adds up to a dramatic reduction in driving fatigue. Once you have experienced the benefits of Power Center Steering and the driver's steering control panel, you will never want to be without them. You will see how the system handles slanted road steering wheel pull. Notice, with the system turned off, how much the steering wheel is displaced to hold against the steering wheel pull. When the test driver releases the steering wheel, the vehicle heads for the side of the road. We have returned to this same stretch of slanted road with the system on and the steering wheel pull trimmed out. Notice the driver can release the steering wheel to demonstrate that the steering wheel pull is completely gone. The vehicle no longer has a compelling desire to leave the road. Slanted road steering wheel pull is something you will never have to endure again with Power Center Steering. You have just seen a first-time ever steering achievement. Not in 100 years of engineering have drivers been able to trim out steering wheel pull, except those equipped with Howard Power Center Steering.
I had the Power Center Steering on, and George and his producer were in the coach, and George was mentioning something about me having it on the coach. And so I told him, I said, I have it on now, and I took my hands off the wheel. And the bus tracked true right down the highway. And so I said, well, let me show you what happens whenever I turn it off. So I turned it off, and the bus started heading for the ditch. So it's really made my job real easy.
Not everyone knows that crosswind actually produces downwind steering in the same manner as the slanted road steering wheel pull. Wind gust creates backsteer. Mother Nature is actually causing the steered wheels to turn downwind with each gust. The driver is not able to keep the steered wheels going perfectly straight. Crosswind driving is universally dreaded. Power center steering holds the steered wheels against all but the most vicious crosswind. Power centering is by far the most dramatic improvement in crosswind driving. The following easy-to-verify test shows how backsteer from the road causes the vehicle driver to oversteer. When learning to drive an RV, we are told not to oversteer. We soon learn this is easier said than done. Even the most experienced drivers have a problem with oversteer. Ask their passengers. They know when it's happening, especially when moving about the vehicle. The following test, with and without the benefit of power center steering, is a real eye-opener. It gets to the heart of the problem and shows how power centering does away with this steering troublemaker once and for all. Now, with the system turned off, we are back to the loosely centered wheels that allows backsteer from the wind and the road to happen. When backsteer happens, driver oversteer follows. Without a definite on-center feel, the driver is constantly searching for the straight-ahead driving position. On a long day's drive, literally thousands of various steering corrections must be made in just the right amount to minimize oversteer. This is the major cause of driving fatigue. Notice how even a small amount of driver oversteer develops into a chain reaction in the dynamic behavior of the vehicle. There is a complete absence in centering force that is so badly needed. Now, with power centering turned on, notice how the steered wheels return properly to the on-center position with enough centering force to prevent both backsteer and driver oversteer. The driver no longer has to be afraid of the steering wheel. The same amount of steering wheel movement does not cause directional control problems. Power centering produces a never-before level of directional stability that seems almost too good to be true. Drivers who have power center steering universally report a dramatic reduction in driving fatigue, arriving at their destination more relaxed than ever before. With the on-off feature of the power centering system, most anyone can verify, to their own amazement, that what you see is what you get with Howard Power Center Steering. One of RV driving's no-fun encounters happens when passing trucks on a two-lane highway. Can you imagine it being this good? Well, it really is, when power centering prevents the other guy from steering your vehicle. We're not recommending hands-free truck passing. However, you can expect power centering to make a dramatic improvement in hands-on steering and control during adverse driving conditions, such as crosswinds and passing other large vehicles. When towing a car, the driving is made more difficult by what amounts to a confrontation between the two vehicles. The extended overhang of an RV multiplies any deviation from a non-swerving course, resulting in a chain reaction between the two vehicles. This greatly adds to the steering problems of the lead vehicle. The only sure way to prevent the chain reaction is power centering. This keeps the lead vehicle tracking incredibly straight and makes a dramatic improvement in the relationship between the two vehicles. When the lead vehicle is going straight, the towed vehicle also goes straight. This video would not be complete without a meaningful coverage of steering geometry, what it does and does not do for heavy vehicle driving. Steering geometry has generally been a confused issue. The geometric steering technology employs the weight of the vehicle to help center and influence the behavior of the steered wheels. There is a limit to what can be achieved in the overall quality of heavy vehicle driving by this method. The centering force diminishes in the straight-ahead position and offers very little help where it is needed most. Even though the steering geometry is only a bit player in the overall scheme of things, it receives top billing when there is a steering problem. A trip to the front-end shop to check the steering geometry does not mean that when the geometry is set perfectly, the steering will be what you would like it to be. Here are some easy evaluations you can make on your own RV. Notice when turning a corner, the geometric centering force becomes ineffective as the steering approaches the on-center straight-ahead position. In the straight-ahead position, the steering geometry passes the responsibility for going straight back to the vehicle driver. Now, with power center steering turned on, here is what design engineers would like to see happen. The steered wheels are powered all the way to the straight-ahead position with enough on-center holding force to keep the steered wheels going straight. With the maverick behavior of the steering under control, there is newfound driving pleasure. With power center steering turned off, let's take another look at the 100-year-old steering geometry. You can see that the centering force is just not there. With Howard Power Center steering turned on again, you have steering the way it should be. The people who know the most about driving are the greatest fans of Power Center steering. Come with us now to Level Cross, North Carolina, home of Richard Petty. Here's Archie Kennedy.
One of my duties at Petty Enterprises is to drive our 45-foot MCI coach. We were surprised and pleased to find out that the driving and passenger comfort could be so much improved. My biggest surprise was on August 2nd on my way to Indy. I had a right front tire to violently blow out. The active steering system held the coach perfectly without any wheel pull. At Petty Enterprises, driving safely is our business, and Howard Active Steering System helps me do just that.
Now let's take a look at the almost unbelievable number of benefits that are achieved by this innovative method of power centering the steered wheels. You will enjoy driving your RV more than you ever thought possible. You will arrive at your destination less tired and more refreshed. You will enjoy directional stability and car towing drivability that can only be achieved with power center steering. Your passengers will be enthusiastic about the comfortable, non-swerving ride and the ease of moving about when traveling. You will enjoy being in complete control of your RV steering with the exclusive Control While You Roll steering panel. You will be able to trim out all steering wheel pull, even on a crowned or slanted road. You will enjoy a dramatic improvement in crosswind driving. You will be driving comfortably in crosswinds that are causing problems for other high-profile vehicle operators. You will enjoy having a positive on-center steering feel that prevents unintentional oversteer. You will enjoy not having road wonder caused by adverse backsteer from the wind and the road. You will enjoy the easy directional control when passing big trucks. As an added safety bonus, you will enjoy knowing you have the industry's most effective blowout protection. Here are just a few of the comments we have received from those who are already driving with power center steering.
We've tried turning it off just for kicks, and let me tell you, there is no comparison between the way a motorhome handles with it on and with it off. You will definitely want it on at all times.
And I won't drive without it on.
We're the Canapes from Alvin, Texas.
And take it from us, the Howard steering system really does work. I used to not be able to drive over 4 hours a day, and my last trip out, we drove 9 hours without having to stop but just refuel. And I wasn't tired, my shoulders wasn't hurting, my hands wasn't hurting. I didn't have to take another day to recuperate after the trip. When we ended that day, well, we went shopping and went out to eat, and I was really relaxed and wasn't tired and nothing like that. So I'm proud of the system. Thank you.
When we heard of a steering system which would correct our coach steering problems, we wanted one. River City Products installed their Howard Active steering system on our coach. The effects of adverse wind and road conditions are a thing of the past, and driving has become an effortless and enjoyable task for my wife and I. It's worked perfect. It took all the wind factoring out of it. And it's just an enjoyment to drive completely. And the road is straight now instead of all curls.
I even have to remind him it's my turn to drive.
The steering of tomorrow is here today. Howard Power Center Steering, the world's most advanced heavy-duty steering system, setting new standards by which all future steering will be judged. For your own satisfaction, we invite you to be the judge. Before you buy, compare any RV that does not have Power Center Steering to one that does.